Tonight on The Young and the Restless, Tracy and Nikki have a meeting to discuss the gala. Phyllis gets caught, and Daniel and Abby give Lily and Devon their own pieces of advice. Jack returns to the Abbott home to be greeted by his wife, Tracy, who inquires about his weekend away with Diane. Jack claims he can finally share some big news with his relatives. "My luck was in when I proposed to Diane and she said yes." Tracy thinks for a second, then offers her congratulations, remarking on how quickly it all transpired. For her, seeing Jack satisfied brings joy. To paraphrase, "If anyone deserves this, it's you." Although she's having a panic attack since she knows people will see them together, Stark claims his feel-good endorphins have kicked in, and he's ready to talk about what comes next. Diane walks in, sees them, and snaps at Phyllis. "I should have known. Every word out of your mouth was a big, giant lie." Phyllis claims that she was taken aback to see Jeremy, and that she had assumed he had left town. Despite Diane's skepticism, Jeremy insists that it was aboard a plane that he realized he'd forgotten his lucky socks. He demands an explanation from Diane as to why she has returned. Diane claims that she and Jack have resolved to disregard his existence. She is immune to his manipulation, and he holds no sway over her anyway. Phyllis says to him, "Did you buy that?" "Not me." They argue, with Diane accusing Phyllis of informing Kyle and Summer that Jeremy had left town in an effort to lure her and Jack back to danger. Phyllis accuses Diane of believing her own fairy tale, one in which she has reformed into a saint. Diane claims she's evolved and says so herself. Some people, Phyllis thinks, will never get over what she did to them, and they'll be relieved if someone comes along to make her pay. Diane claims that she and Jack are stronger now than they were before Phyllis and Jeremy got married because the redhead deserves each other. Phyllis is skeptical that the two of them are getting along splendidly. Jeremy thinks Diane will only love someone with deep pockets. Diane forewarns that they will soon get information that will show them that their hatred is futile. She really doesn't care to waste any more of her time or energy on their bullshit and leaves. When Daniel arrives at Crimson Lights, he greets Lily, who explains in the morning that she didn't get much sleep since she was nervous about the hearing. Just before she goes off to fight Devon, Daniel asks if they can talk for a minute. To avoid second-guessing herself, he wants to be sure she hears him clearly. The two of them discuss how crucial the merger was for her. She had high hopes that it would be a hit. Daniel speculates that there may have been an excessive number of factors at play. Lily tried everything to make things right with Devon. Daniel feels she should stop being so hard on herself and give it her all if she wants to succeed. When Abby comes to the penthouse to visit Devon, he tells her there's no purpose in fretting about things beyond his control. He believes in Christine a lot. Abby points out that this will be his first time seeing Amanda since they broke up. To Devon's astonishment, Lily carried her inside. Abby is eager to show her support for him in person, but Devon is against her going. Abby can't fathom why he wouldn't want to take her along. Devon probes further, inquiring whether or not she is sure she wants to face Amanda in court. Abby speculates that he may be worried that she won't be able to keep her opinions to herself, and will share them with Lily and Amanda. It gets a chuckle out of Devon, who says, "You're more than welcome to do that." He hopes she will stay at home with their child, so he may return to them regardless of the outcome of the legal proceedings. Abby will be dwelling on his absence the entire time. Devon is thankful to Abby and expresses that he and Dom could not be happier. They kiss, and Abby is aware that he is dealing with a lot of emotions today, and she especially doesn't want Lily and Amanda to turn that information against him. Getting ready to go Devon, Abby speculates on what might happen if Amanda confronts him directly about his lying and adultery. No matter what happens to him today, Devon is confident that he will still be able to return to his normal life tonight. He is aware that in the larger scheme of things, she and Dominic will eventually find him. Climate change poses risks to the wine business. Abby is asked by Devon if she will inform her father that he witnessed her wearing the shirt while coming downstairs. For the time being, Abby will have Devon as her primary concern. He assures us that Lily will try to irritate him at some point. Devon says he will keep his emotions out of it. After a long day of preparation, Tracy and Nikki meet up at Society to share their excitement about the upcoming gala. Nikki assures them that Michael and Lauren's catering arrangements are finalized. They plan to have a memorable reunion of past and present community members. Nikki suggests they have something spectacular up their sleeve. Tracy is very excited about the masked portion of the ball and believes the entire evening will be fantastic. Nikki is absolutely ecstatic, saying that tonight is going to be unforgettable. In light of recent events, Tracy thinks the time is perfect. Nikki inquires whether there is a specific item to which she is referring. Nikki tells Tracy she's not a good liar despite her cover story that she's only speaking generally. She is confused as to whether Tracy is referring to the recent revived romance between Jack and Diane or Jeremy Stark's visit to town, which was Phyllis's idea. Jack sees that Diane is agitated when she comes to visit the Abbotts. Diane says she and Phyllis and Jeremy Stark met at the Grand Phoenix. Incredulous, Jack snarls. He goes on a tirade about the way she has been using Kyle and Summer to spread her deception. Diane claims that their motivation was to entice them to return to the city. Jack is confused. He wants to know what their motivation is. Because Phyllis has isolated herself from her friends and family, he isn't surprised that Stark has gained access to her. Diane thinks that he is doing a great job of preying on her insecurities, but she does not absolve herself of responsibility. Phyllis has been confused for what seems like decades. To remind, Diane isn't worthy of him and she certainly doesn't deserve to lose him for her. Jack prayed that the prospect of losing her children would be enough to shake her out of it. Diane claims that she is so self-centered and filled with resentment that she cannot see past her own agenda and grudge. Jack knows that Phyllis can't control herself and always gives in to her worst urges because he's seen it all before. Diane explains that no matter what, she can always make an excuse for it. Jack reassures her that they will deal with it as a married couple. Nobody can take their joy away from them. He is embraced by Diane. Phyllis, who has joined Diane in Jeremy's apartment, is curious as to the latter's intentions. Jeremy cautions her against losing focus, saying it's in Diane's interest for her to do so. He turns to her and says, "Are you still on board with this 100%? He needs her undivided focus on the next move. Phyllis reassures him that she won't let herself get sidetracked and advises him against trying to micromanage her. The two of them, in Jeremy's opinion, could set the world on fire with her self-assurance. Phyllis puts her hands on his chest to stop him from approaching. This time she tells him to pay attention in class. Even though he's an attractive ex-con, she won't let him distract her. Jeremy beams. "That's very kind of you." That's what she tells him he should tell him. Lily recounts her problems with Devon while being encouraged by Daniel at Crimson Lights. He urges her to go into the hearing with a clear goal in mind. Devon has no business destroying her legacy. In other words, go get him. That meant a lot to Lily. Therefore she appreciates Daniel saying those words to her. One of them gives the other a hug. Devon walks into the hallway of the penthouse and looks at Abby standing there. Don't fret any longer. His plan is to kiss her when he gets home, play with Dominic, and then get dressed up to have a fantastic day at the gala. Abigail gives her boyfriend a kiss and a good luck wish. In her solitude, she recalls their long-ago conversation about love. She recalled him stating that love is risky, but that if it's genuine, someone will always be there to catch him. Abby has a bright disposition as she relaxes in her luxury apartment. When Jeremy Stark strides into society to greet her, Nikki turns up her nose at him. Nikki would rather he not be present. Jeremy considers her the most intriguing of the three women in their trio. Nikki is positive that Ashley and Phyllis will be thrilled with the news. Jeremy believes that he and Nikki must constantly struggle and argue to achieve their goals. Nikki warns him against assuming anything about her. She thinks it's incredibly brazen of him to return to the scene of the crime after he stole her necklace. Jeremy claims that he was set up, and she should know better. Nikki warns him to leave town so she doesn't have to deal with her husband's wrath. Whilst Jeremy is in no way a threat to her, he does serve as a reminder that she previously considered him as the solution to her Diane problem. Nikki believes that he is misjudging her level of enthusiasm for Diane Jenkins. Jeremy praises this and mentions the next gala. It's by invitation only, Nikki informs him. Jeremy plans to pay for it with a contribution. Nikki gives him her word that she won't include him in the invites. For his part, Jeremy plans to help make the event a huge success. There's no question in my mind that tonight will go down in history as a fantastic time. After arriving at the Abbott residence, Phyllis informed Tracy that she would be meeting Summer there. Tracy leaves without preventing her from waiting. As she creeps around the living room, Phyllis keeps her eyes peeled for the engagement ring she knows is somewhere in the house. A grin spreads across her face. Diane from behind her yells, "What the heck are you doing?" The ring box is hidden behind Phyllis's back. Phyllis claims to be meeting Summer. Diane rejects her story and says she's using her daughter again without her permission. "You have no business being here now that we know you're working with Jeremy." Phyllis makes up a text from Summer saying they can't meet after all, and she storms out of the house. Upon seeing Divan at the courthouse, Lily tells him that this is their last chance because if they begin, there will be no turning back. "We need to identify areas of agreement. Please think about having a conversation about it." Amanda enters the room at that moment and sternly orders Lily, "Don't speak another thing."